Mr. Tyler and Joe and I had a little bit of a debate on the offensive incoming freshmen who may have a chance to make an impact. And so that's what I kind of wanted to wrap it up. We didn't get to talk too much about defenders. We talked special teams and wide receivers mostly. So, Tyler, that's the first question. Of the defenders in this class, guys projected to start up on defense, who do you see as having the best chance to impact the Irish in 2012?
Well, I guess there's two ways to look at it. I think first of all, Sheldon Day has a great opportunity to contribute, and one of the ways to look at it is readiness. And I think as an early enrollee, he was one of two early enrollees with Gunnar Keel. We did have T. Shepard, but he since left the school. But I think because he's gone through that spring practice session, all of those practices before the Blue Gold game, and he's acclimated to the social life and just college life in general, and we're hearing rave reviews about him from Lewis Nix and from some of the coaching staff. I think he's a guy that on the defensive line, he's 6'2", he's 290 pounds, and I think that's what he's listed at, and he could be a little upward of that. But I think that he's a guy that's physically ready, and I think that he's learning. So I think that he has an opportunity because of that readiness. On the flip side, we certainly have the most holes, or at least the most opportunity for young players to play at the cornerback position, because while Bennett Jackson and Low Wood have kind of been in the system, they really haven't had too much game experience. So it wouldn't be a stretch to believe that any incoming freshman could steal opportunities there. And I think if you're looking there, you say Elijiah Shumate could play, although he may move to the safety position. We're not quite sure on that. So I think Elijiah Shumate, he's a defensive back. He's 6'1", 205, but I think he's going to play a similar Jamorris Slaughter, could be corner, could be safety. So I think he has opportunities as well.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to sound a little bit like a broken record if you listen to Tyler and I this past week. You know, you talk about Sheldon Day. That guy is absolutely, we saw him in person in the spring game, looks like a college defensive tackle now. He's not 290. He's pushing 3 bills and quite a bit more, most likely. Where I see it, though, is that, you mentioned Lewis Nix. You mentioned the emergence of Kona Schwenke this year, who will be a junior. Are the reps really going to be there? I think that he could be on that jumbo package, third and short, fourth and short, goal line, defensive tackle. But the guy I kind of move towards, and there's 2 of them on the defensive line, I think that Romeo Okwara may be the guy that comes in and fills in that elite edge rusher, pass rusher role that is being vacated by Fleming, Nicholas, and Aaron Lynch, who are all not going to be on the field next year. So that's kind of the guy I was looking at. You watch his highlight, he's relentless, he's nasty, he fits that bill at 6'6", 250, he's coming in with an outside linebacker build. That is a player that I think that could step on the field and just go third downs, go attack the quarterback, Romeo, and work in later. So if you have any thoughts on that?
I agree with you. I think that's the same vein as the cornerback argument that I said, that there's opportunity based on not a lot of people in that role. And you're right, we have an exceptionally deep defensive line in Schwenke, in Nix, in Capron, Lewis, Moore, all of those guys, but we don't really have true pass rushers. Aaron Lynch was that guy, and he's gone now too. So to line up someone like Okwara and say tee off on the quarterback, that's something that you can do without having to teach a whole lot. You put him in that specific role. You say third down, go get him. You don't have to worry about contain as much or the little things that you learn, through being in the program for a while. So I do think that he may have a chance to crack that third down lineup, if anything. But as for Sheldon Day, you said the jumbo package or the goal line, I agree. If you line up Nix and Tuitt and Schwenke and then maybe even throw a fourth guy on there and Day, see what happens, good luck trying to push those 4.
No, absolutely. And I wanted to bring Jason in on this. Jason, you've seen some of the freshman defenders. We talked about them a lot recently. You've seen the film. Is there a guy in this class on the defensive side of the ball that you've said, I want to see what this guy does in camp. I want to see if he can contribute?
Well, I mean, I'm sitting here listening. I would just be echoing exactly what you guys are talking about. There's several guys out there that I really think can make an impact real quick. Sheldon Day is one that I think he's going to be really good. But yeah, there's several guys that really do have an opportunity, and especially when considering Coach Diaco's system, and he seems to be able to get guys motivated really well. there's going to be guys that want that opportunity. So we've got a whole bunch of studs that are just, you know, young guys out there who are ready to, you know, just take it to them. So I'm looking, you know, all in all, I'm really looking forward to more dominance from our defense, and even being more dominant than they have been in the past couple seasons. And, you know, that's really where I'm at with the defense. I have no worries. You know, Aaron Lynch left and everything, and, you know, that is a blow, but, you know, there are guys who can step up. Kona is one of those guys who I think is, and from everything I'm hearing, that, you know, Manta, I believe, said that Kona is finally playing like Kona plays, like he remembers him playing. So that's definitely a good sign.
Okay, back to you, Tyler. I want to direct a little bit of a question. We're talking, you're on campus. You got a little bit more of the pulse. I know you're in the dorms with some of the players. Is there a projection, looking at the defense right now, do you think there's anybody that's going to be moving positions? There were position movings from this last fall into spring. And do you see any of the guys, maybe incoming freshmen or even current players, that have a chance of moving positions by the time fall camp starts?
I don't know that I see any drastic changes being made, but I think you're going to see one of the things we've already touched on here is flexibility in the defensive line, for one thing, that you know that Tuitt can play inside and outside. You know that Kona Schwenke can play inside and outside. And we're talking about that with Sheldon Day as well. And in the same vein, I think you're going to see that with the safeties, that as much as Brian Kelly wanted to say that moving Jamor Slaughter and trying him out at corner in some of those practices wasn't going to be a trend in the regular season, you may have to use that. I don't know that I see too many guys making big switches. We're obviously still waiting on Ishak because he could continue growing, and that's the scary thing, that he's done really well in that outside linebacker spot, but eventually he may have to put his hand on the ground. Those are some guys that I'd think about off the top of my head, but I wouldn't see any radical position changes, just flexibility within your own position group.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest aspects of Diaco's defense at this point, you're looking at him, it's not a 3-4, it's not a 4-3, it's not a 3-5-5, it's not any of that stuff. He gets guys that can play on the field, and he gets guys in on downs and players in on downs that can make a difference. Athletes in position to make plays. I think that's been his priority, and that's what we like to see. Now, I want to remind everyone listening, we're here with Tyler Moorehead of our Lep Legion show on the TNNDN Network. What we're going to do, we're going to try and bring you on regularly, Tyler. It's going to be called Campus Pulse. You're a student. Okay. You're going to let us know what's going on. That'll be our segment name.